price at ivtech.edu. Wilson Sporting Goods, official ball of the IHSAA. Forte Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the official sports medicine provider of the IHSAA. By Connecticut, life is better with Connecticut Water. Sharp Business Systems Indiana, saluting great athletes and even better students. Dellon Automotive, experience the Dellon difference. And by the Indiana Fever and Indiana Pacers, proud presenting sponsor of the 50th annual IHSAA Girls Basketball State Tournament. This is Indiana's game. We are Indiana's teams.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to an historic day, the 50th IHSAA Girls Basketball State Finals Pairing Show. I'm Bob Lovell from Network Indiana's Indiana Sports Talk alongside Greg Rakestraw from the ISC Sports Network. Greg, it's that time of year. We have 391 teams. We have 387 games in 26 days, and it's the 50th year of competition.
And again, it is so special every year, but we've officially hit round number territory, and the folks here at 91st Meridian have been great about honoring the now half a century of history of state tournaments, of officially having girls basketball in the state of Indiana all season long. Jane Schott, who will join us later in the program, now the new assistant commissioner in charge of girls basketball. She has been wonderful sitting behind this desk and talking to so many great players and coaches over the course of the last 5 decades. This is truly a season of celebration, but for you and I, it's what we get to do each and every January and kind of say, hey, postseason basketball is almost here.
Right.
And for hoop heads across the state of Indiana, starting next Tuesday, we have 8 consecutive weeks of postseason basketball. Hoosier Hysteria is not 1 month, it is 2. Fired up about it.
I have more respect for you than to call you hoop heads, but we start this schedule on February the 4th. We run through February the 8th when the 64 sectional championship teams will be crowned. Championship game for the regionals will be the 15th of February, and then semi-states of 22nd. State finals March 1st in Gainbridge Fieldhouse. 50 years, Greg. There's plenty to celebrate other than the fact that we're celebrating basketball, but 50 years of competition.
Well, let's also celebrate a wonderful partnership, and that, of course, is with the Indiana Fever and Indiana Pacers. The Pacers, my goodness, just got done playing in Paris over the course of the last 3 days, and obviously the Fever had a season unlike any other in the history of the WNBA because of the introduction of Caitlin Clark. We're adopting her from her Iowa roots now to be a Hoosier. With what she has meant to the basketball community over the course of the last year or two in this area. And obviously last year, 4 new state champions that were crowned in terms of 1A in Lanesville, 2A Fort Wayne Bishop Luers, 3A being Gibson Southern, and 4A Lawrence Central. Lawrence Central, one of those teams that has a chance to repeat. A couple of those teams are in new classifications in terms of Lanesville and Gibson Southern. But again, it's going to be a wonderful month of February leading up to 4 championship games on the first day of March.
When we come back, we're going to sit down with the commissioner of the IHSAA, Paul Knighting, and get his thoughts about this historic tournament that's coming up. You're listening to the IHSA Champions Radio Network, presented by the Indiana Fever and Farm Bureau Insurance. This is your IHSAA.
In life and in high school sports, the most talented person doesn't always win.
And the most successful people are not always the most gifted. I'm Owen Fouts from Yorktown High School.
And I'm Lena Jones from Plymouth High School. More often than not, success requires being what other people are unwilling to be.
Consistent, disciplined, persistent, without taking shortcuts.
It's often the most dedicated, hardest working person or team that rises to the top.
The ones who run extra drills, who stay late in the weight room, who put in time after practice.
They say hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And those who rise to the challenge are met with the greatest rewards.
I'm IHSAA Commissioner Paul Knighting. Support the hard work of our student athletes by buying a ticket to your school's athletic events. Thank you for being a champion of high school sports. This is consistency and commitment. This is discipline and dedication. This is your IHSAA.
It's hard to keep track of all the health information that comes your way, but you still want to make the right decisions. Here's an easy one. Get tested for hepatitis C. It's a leading cause of liver cancer and often has no symptoms. People born from 1945 to 1965 are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. The good news is that now it can be cured. Talk with your doctor about getting a blood test for hepatitis C. Know for sure. A message from the CDC.
Welcome back, everyone, to the 2025 IHSAA Girls Basketball Tournament Pairing Show. It's presented by the Indiana Fever and the Indiana Pacers on the IHSAA Champions Radio Network. This is your IHSAA. Seated alongside Greg and myself, the commissioner of the IHSAA, Mr. Paul Neidig. Commissioner, 50-year celebration. I know as we get closer to the actual event, there'll be some announcements of some of the events surrounding it, but it's a big, big year for everyone in this tournament.
It is, Coach. And, 50 years of high school basketball is just phenomenal. And I'm not going to steal any thunder. We're going to let Assistant Commissioner Jane Schott come on here in a little while that's been working hard to really celebrate this girls' basketball in the state of Indiana. And it's going to be a phenomenal weekend. I would tell people right now, if you've ever been a fan of high school girls basketball, go ahead and mark state finals on your calendar, because it is going to be an event with things going on the entire day, and there'll be some things leading up to it. It's going to be phenomenal.
There has been, a saying, the only constant has changed. I mean, the last 2 or 3 years, we've talked about different kind of elements of the tournament. 2 years ago, it was kind of flipping back to the 4-team semi-state format. That was very well received. Last year, we said, hey, it has to be the same class as every regional, so fans were closer to home. This year's change, we kind of went through in volleyball. We'll do it again in the spring. 4A is a little bit smaller, 1A is a little bit bigger. How have those changes been received so far?
Well, it worked well in volleyball, and with basketball upon us, it's certainly going to get a few more eyes on it. And we continue to have schools evolve in the state of Indiana, and back in the 50s and 60s, schools were relatively the same size.
Yeah.
And that's not the case anymore. We have schools in excess of 5,000 students down to just less than 100 still. And as we continue to address what's going on out there in our state, it was a change this year that we made. We have roughly the 80 largest schools in the state of Indiana. They're in a single class. 2A or 3A and 4 or 3A and 2A are basically the same number, and then we have a larger number of schools in 1A. And I think that 1A tournament this year is going to be really exciting. We're back to several 18 tournaments, and they're going to play every night of the week almost. And I think it's going to hearken of days gone by or days of old, and a lot of community enthusiasm is going to be on display.
It's always incumbent on us to talk about, we know it's an emotional time for everyone, because we take our sport seriously. We take basketball seriously in Indiana. But we also need to be reminded that we need to do it the proper way and show a tremendous level of sportsmanship all the way down, from the administrators to the people popping the popcorn. Everybody has to show that same kind of respect for the game and the people involved in it.
Yeah, Coach, unfortunately, I get reports back in my office, and I'm still amazed at the things that some people think it's okay to say.
Sure.
And, and I think as an evolved society, it's time for us to move on beyond those things and understand, and I've said it before, games are designed by human beings, are played, coached, spectated, and officiated by human beings, and we have to realize that a little grace is involved here, and we need to understand that not one person that does this is a perfect individual, and we just got to get back to that and understand that people are doing their best, and I really truly believe that.
Let's talk about the Indiana Fever and the Indiana Pacers. And again, you have not one, not two, but 3 state championships. With the All-Star Game not being here this year, you're back to having 3 at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Just your thoughts about this wonderful partnership, knowing you'll see the folks from Pacer Sports Entertainment a lot the next couple of months.
Well, I wish I could describe what this looks like compared to the rest of the country, because nobody else has a relationship with a professional organization that this association has with our folks at the Pacers and Fever. They understand high school basketball, and certainly it's a partnership, and we want to do things to help them celebrate what they do. But they truly understand their role in this is to help us grow and celebrate high school basketball in this state. They don't ask for a thing from us. They want to make every event it's an event that these kids and families that get to go to it can remember for their lifetime.
Well, thanks for having us.
Thank you very much.
And have a great tournament. We'll look forward to spending more time with you, and we look forward to some great games as they unfold. The commissioner of the IHSAA, Paul Neidig. You're listening to the IHSAA Champions Radio Network, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. This is your IHSAA.
The Indiana Fever are excited to support the IHSAA Girls Basketball State Championships. From high school to the pros, basketball fever hits different in Indiana. We respect the game, we honor the greats, lead the way for the next generation of hoopers, and we crown champions at Gamebridge Fieldhouse, where legends are made. The Fever return in 2025, ready to rise back to the WNBA playoffs, led by Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and head coach Stephanie White. Visit feverbasketball.com for more information.
At Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, we're good at insurance. But not just any insurance. We're good at fireworks don't go in the attic insurance. Hole in window insurance. Even guy that shouldn't have a chainsaw but has a chainsaw insurance. Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance and stop knocking on wood.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? Have you heard of hepatitis C? Hepatitis C is a leading cause of liver cancer, yet it often has no symptoms. And people born from 1945 to 1965 are 5 times more likely to have it. But here's some good news. Treatments are now available that can cure hepatitis C, which is why you should talk with your doctor about getting a blood test for hepatitis C. It could save your life. A message from the CDC.
Welcome back, everyone. We're glad you're with us with the 2025 IHSAA Girls Basketball Tournament Pairing Show presented by the Indiana Fever and the Indiana Pacers on the IHSAA Champions Radio Network. This is your IHSAA. Greg Rakestraw, you have the enviable task, quite frankly, enviable task of talking about viewing parties. So we want you to send us the videos, well, not videos, just send us a text with those pictures of your viewing parties all over the state. Text that, tweet that to us, at IHSAA TV and IHSAA1.
First out of the chute, the Bombers of Rensselaer Central have had a fantastic season so far. Yeah, this sometimes turns into Better Homes and Gardens of Indiana. They are not at the Eel Dome, but that is the Eels of Clay City who are getting together. We will get to them in the next segment of the show. And Northeastern's getting together. They've had a phenomenal year as well. They're in 2A. They're in the southern half of the bracket. We will get to them. So, again, tweet us your watch party picks at IHSAA1. And at the hand, you'll see right here on our screen, IHSAA TV. And we're 13 minutes in. How about we get to some brackets, shall we?
Let's talk about who's playing whom, shall we? Let's start in 1A. Sectional number 49 is hosted by Bowman Academy. There are 7 teams in this sectional. On Tuesday night, Bowman Academy will take on number 1 Marquette Catholic. Wednesday night, 2 games. The first game features Couts taking on Washington Township. And the second game on Wednesday night will bring you Tri-Township matched up with Morgan Township. Westville on Friday night, they're ranked number 7. They'll take on the winner of the Bowman Academy Marquette Catholic matchup from Tuesday night. Greg, Bowman with 16 wins, Westville with 17, Washington Township. Everybody in this sectional, Greg, has a winning record.
Well, the first thing that we'll point out is that, again, because of the shrinking of 4A, the enlargement of 1A, and some teams moving between all 4 classes, whatever your sectional was in the past is probably going to look different. And here's the example. First of all, in 1A, almost, not all, but most sectionals are 7 and 8 team sectionals. So Marquette Catholic was in sectional number 50 last year, and they went all the way to the state finals. Lost to Lanesville in the championship game. Lanaya Davis is back. She's a sophomore. 20 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 steals per game. Congratulations to Westville, who drew the bye. They just won the Porter County Conference Tournament last night. Marquette Catholic beat them just before Christmas. A lot of great teams. You're right. Those are probably the 2 you want to focus on. They're both in the top half of the bracket.
Sectional number 50. West Central is the host of this. As Greg pointed out, you have 8 teams in this one. Game number 1 on Tuesday night features number 7 Tri-County taking on North Newton. Also on Tuesday night, West Central will play DeMott Christian. Wednesday night, game 1 features North White and South Newton, followed by the Pioneer versus Caston matchup. And then the winners obviously will play on Friday in the semifinals. Tri-County with 16 wins, West Central with 13. Marquette Catholic, obviously, in their success that they've had, has 14 wins. Very competitive, very difficult sectional.
Tri-County is where we start here. They're 7-0 against sectional foes. West Central sitting on 14 wins. Tri-County beat them by 11 earlier this year. Again, DeMont Christian's had a successful season. And a special nod to Pioneer. They were 0-6 and then 1-7 and rattled off 9 consecutive wins. They're around 500 now. But again, the Cavaliers of Tri-County the favorite here.
Let's head to sectional number 51. Oregon Davis is the host of this 8-team affair. Tuesday night, game 1, Triton will take on Argus. The second game of the night on Tuesday features number 14, Elkhart Christian and Trinity Greenlawn. Wednesday night, game 1, North Judson San Pierre will play South Central from Union Mills. Also on Wednesday, Oregon Davis will play Culver Community in the semifinals on Friday night. Greg, Oregon Davis, this is a very competitive sectional in a sense that you got teams over 15 wins like Elkhart Christian, North Judson with 15, Culver's 110. Oregon Davis has 9. Very competitive sectional. 2
teams to focus on here, Elkhart Christian and North Judson San Pierre. Elkhart Christian has never won a girls basketball sectional, but also, again, because you've got some teams that have moved, you've got teams that don't play each other. So, example, Elkhart Christian and North Judson San Pierre, they're the top 2 win getters in this sectional, do not play each other during the regular season.
Sectional number 52, hosted by Bethany Christian, 7 teams in this one. Tuesday night's game features number 8, Fremont, and their opponent, Lakewood Park Christian. Wednesday night, game number 1, Hamilton will play Fort Wayne Canterbury, followed by the Lakeland Christian Fort Wayne Blackhawk matchup. And then Friday, semifinal game number 1, Bethany Christian will take on the Fremont Lakewood Park Christian winner from Tuesday night. Some competition there. Fremont, Lakewood Park, Lakeland Christian, Blackhawk, all above double figures in wins.
Fremont, to me, is the story here. They've won 15 games, and they won a 2A sectional last year. So, again, you'll have this, where a team won a sectional higher classification, and because of their size, now being a larger 1A school, they get reclassified. As far as the game that got my attention earlier this year, Fremont played Blackhawk Christian and beat them by 9 when the 2 teams got together in mid-November.
Sectional number 53 is being played at Fountain Central. There are 7 teams here. Tuesday night's game features Covington taking on the host, Fountain Central. Game number 1 on Wednesday, North Vermilion will play Lafayette Central Catholic, followed by the Riverton Park Attica matchup. Friday night, sectional semifinal game number 1 on Friday will be Faith Christian taking on the Covington Fountain Central winner from Tuesday. And sectional, the second game, obviously, the winners from Tuesday night and Wednesday night. Greg, a very competitive sectional.
Yeah, the story usually is Central Catholic in 1A or 2A, and they are 1A this year. So now they become the favorite. They've won 17 games overall. Fountain Central is next with 16 wins, but CC won in a pretty easy matchup back in December. So the Knights of Central Catholic the favorite here in 53.
Sectional 54 is played at Clinton Prairie. There are 5 teams here. 1 game on Tuesday night. That features Clinton Prairie taking on Carroll of Flora. Friday night semifinal game number 1, Rossville will play Frontier. The second semifinal game on Friday night features number 13 Clinton Central. Their opponent, the winner of the Clinton Prairie Carroll matchup from Tuesday night. Rossville, Clinton Central, Carroll, all above 500.
There was a big matchup in this group on Friday night. Clinton Central went to Rossville and won by double digits. Clinton Central was a second or 2 away from playing in the state championship game last year when Marquette Catholic hit a 3 at Case Arena in Frankfort to go further downstate to the state championship game. If you wonder why there's only 5 teams in this group, a couple of teams, unfortunately, couldn't field full teams this year, so why this is a bit of a smaller group. But what you have now is familiarity breeds contempt. These teams know each other very well. They're largely conference and county rivals. They're all really good. I would say I could make a case for 4 of these 5 teams to win this sectional.
Sectional number 57, sectional 55 at Tri-Central, 8 teams. Tuesday night first game features Cowan taking on Westdale, followed by the Daleville Tri-Central matchup. Game 1 on Wednesday at Tri-Central. This is the Northfield versus Southwood matchup. And the second game on Wednesday night features North Miami taking on Southern Wells. Randolph Southern, Monroe Central seem to be the two teams that have the best records.
Yeah, Southern Wells with 15 wins, but they have 2 losses to teams in the field. Daleville has 11 wins. North Miami has 12. Congratulations to Southern Wells. This is their first winning season in 12 years for first-year head coach Kyle Penrod. In terms of a key matchup, Daleville beat Southern Wells by 6 when they played in early January. Again, that North Miami-Southern Wells game is going to tell us a lot, that second game on Wednesday night.
I misspoke with Randolph Southern and Monroe Central.
We're getting to them.
I'm getting to them.
They're up next.
They're up next. Pardon me for the cough. In sectional number 56, which Randolph Southern is hosting, game 1 on Tuesday, Monroe Central will play Union of Modoc, followed by Blue River Valley and Randolph Southern. And on Friday night, Union City will take on the Monroe Central Union Modoc winner. And Greg, Randolph Southern with 11 wins, Monroe Central with 15, eventually got to them the right way.
Yeah, Monroe Central has the best record, but did lose to Randolph Southern when they played during the regular season. And Randolph Southern has a loss to under 500 Union City. So, again, anything can happen with this group.
All right, that takes us through the northern part of the state in 1A. We'll come back and talk about who's matched up with whom in the southern part when we return. You're listening to the IHSAA Champions Radio Network presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. This is your IHSAA.
Hi, Pacers fans. This is Chris Denari. In addition to basketball, my family is a big fan of 2 things: rescue dogs and great Connecticut water. So when we adopted our newest dog, Walter, we made sure his water came from our Connecticut drinking water system. We take water quality seriously, which is why we also have a whole home water treatment system to eliminate the problems caused by hard water. Visit ConnecticutIndy.com for a free in-home water test. Connecticut, official sponsor of the Indiana Pacers.
Did you ever ride your bike with a clothespin and a baseball card? Or use a typewriter for a school paper? Then here's a timely alert. Americans born from 1945 to 1965 are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C, which often has no symptoms, but is a leading cause of liver cancer. The good news? Treatments are available that can cure hepatitis C. Talk with your doctor about getting a blood test for hepatitis C. Know for sure. A message from the CDC.
Hey, honey, take your blood pressure medication.
Thanks, dear.
Daddy, are you going to the hospital again?
No, son. Bad medication from a dishonest website got me sick. Now we only use sites approved by NABP or that end in .pharmacy, so we know they're safe.
Learn more about the new .pharmacy domain and ordering medications safely online at safe.pharmacy, a public service from the National Association of Boards of Pharmacy.
Welcome back, everyone, to the 2025 IHSA Girls Basketball Tournament Pairing Show, presented by the Indiana Fever and Indiana Pacers on the IHSAA Champions Radio Network. This is your IHSAA. Today's broadcast of the IHSAA Champions Network is brought to you in part by Ivy Tech Community College. An Ivy Tech degree means you'll be ready on day one at your new job, with over 70 degree programs offered and a faculty that meets you where you're at. Get started at ivytech.edu. Greg Rakestraw, let us go to the southern part of the state, where sectional number 57, Anderson Preparatory Academy, is hosting here. Game 1 on Tuesday, MTI School of Knowledge versus Indiana Deaf. The second game features Anderson Preparatory versus Tindley. On Friday night, game number 1 of the semifinals, Purdue Polytechnic Broad Ripple will take on the MTI School of Knowledge Indiana Deaf winner. And Liberty Christian in the second game on Friday night will take on the Anderson Prep Tindley winner. Greg, Anderson Prep, Tindley, Indiana Deaf, right around the 500 mark.
Anderson Prep and Tindley might be the sectional championship, the first game out of the chute. Anderson Prep has 13 wins. This is their 10th IHSAA tournament. They had not won a tournament game until last year. They're looking for their first sectional championship. Tindley's 11-9. Now, the two schools don't play each other. Indiana Deaf has 11 wins, but Anderson Prep beat them again. Anderson Prep and Tindley like your favorites, and whoever wins that game on Tuesday night, again, the favorite now the next 2 times until they get to Saturday night.
Sectional number 58 being played at Eminence On Tuesday night, Indianapolis Lutheran will take on Victory College Prep in the first game. The second game in Eminence on the first round of the sectionals on Tuesday. Central Christian taking on the host Eels. Friday night, game one of the semifinals. That'll pit Traders Point taking on the Lutheran Victory College Prep winner from Tuesday night. And obviously the semifinal games on Friday night. Eminence hosting with 15 wins, Greg.
They're the favorite, and they have won this sectional each of the last 2 years. Central Christian has 8 wins. Eminence just beat them in the last week and did so decisively. So love the fact that we're going old school. This one's at the Eel Tank at Eminence. It's a classic building, and it's been very good to the Eels the last couple of years in the sectional.
Sectional number 59 is being played at Southwestern of Shelbyville. 8 schools here. And you have 2 games on Tuesday night. Game 1 features Edinburgh taking on North Decatur. The second game of the night, number 12, Tri, will take on Morristown. Wednesday night's first game features Knightstown and their opponent, South Decatur, followed by the host, Southwestern of Shelbyville, taking on Waldron. On Friday night, obviously, the winners will play one another. Tri with 15 wins, North Decatur with 14, Morristown, South Decatur above 500. What a sectional.
Yeah, let's talk about this. Tri has been in the northern half of the bracket until this year. Now with the redistricting and reshaping of the classes, they're now in the southern half of the bracket. They're unbeaten against sectional foes. Again, much like Fremont, North Decatur was a 2A sectional champion last year, and again with 14 wins. But again, great balance throughout the field, Bob. 5 teams have 11 wins or more going into the sectional.
Very balanced. All right, we turn now to sectional number 60. Hauser hosting this one, 8 schools in it. 2 games on Tuesday. The first one, Rising Sun will take on Oldenburg Academy. They're ranked number 4. The second game Tuesday night has Milan taking on Crothersville. Wednesday night, game 1, Trinity Lutheran will play Shaw Memorial, followed by Jacksonville's matchup with Hauser. Winners meet on Friday. And Greg, this is a tough sectional. There's some really good teams here.
Correct. So Shaw is 15-4, and the toppers are 6-0 against teams from this sectional. They have been in all 50 girls' state tournaments. They have never won a girls' basketball sectional before. Now, Oldenburg Academy is 16-4, and a guy that you and I know well, Dave Disbrow, for a long time, the boys' coach at East Central, now in his second year as the girls' coach at Oldenburg Academy. He's done a great job. Shaw beat them by 2 back in November. Trinity Lutheran just hung with Lanesville a couple of weeks ago, who's one of the better teams in now 2A this year. And usually you got to make sure you talk about Jacksonville. JCD might be rebuilding a little bit this year under first-year head coach Lily Simon. Yet, they're over 500 against teams from this sectional. The Eagles will always be a tough out in Jacksonville.
Sectional number 61 being played at Clay City. There are 8 schools here. Lighthouse Christian will play White River Valley, WRV ranked number 10 in game 1 on Tuesday, followed by the Duggar Union Cloverdale matchup. Wednesday night's first game features Bloomfield taking on North Central of Farmersburg, ranked number 2. And also on Wednesday night, Shakamak will play the host Clay City. And Greg, those are great matchups. WRV, North Central Shakamak, great season.
This is also about the most unchanged sectional that we have in the entire state. Literally in 4A, what we call the Hamilton County sectional is the exact same. The only difference here, Cloverdale drops from 2A to 1A. Now, the big difference for this group, they have changed the semi-state they are in, the regional they are in. This group kind of fed towards the Indianapolis teams in years gone by. Now they go further south. Now, to your point about the teams, White River Valley, 15 wins. The T-Birds of North Central with 19 wins. And North Central beat the Wolverines rather handily earlier this year. However, the T-Birds were beaten by Shakamak earlier this year as well. North Central went all the way to the semi-state final last year. Look to make it at least one more weekend this time around.
Sectional number 62 is being played at Bar Reeve, 7 schools. 1 game on Tuesday. That game is Vincennes Reveille, ranked number 11, taking on Washington Catholic. Game 1 on Tuesday night features Bar Reeve taking on Lagodi. The second game, number 6 Orleans will play North Davies. And on Friday night, Shoals will play the Vincennes Reveille Washington Catholic winner from Tuesday night. Orleans, Bar Reeve, Reveille, winning records. Always a great section.
Yeah, Orleans gets your attention here. 15 wins when they beat Bar Reeve early this season was by just 6 points. Again, Reveille, 12 wins. They and Orleans do not play each other in the course of the season. And congratulations to Lexi Fry of this group of Reveille, who just joined the 1,000 Career Point Club last week.
Sectional 63 at Borden, 7 schools. Tuesday night's game, Rock Creek Academy will play, Rock Creek versus Christian Academy of Indiana on Tuesday night. Excuse me for that. Also, Wednesday, we got game number 1. That's Henryville taking on South Central of Elizabeth. Wednesday night, also, West Washington will play Borden. Borden ranked number 3. And then New Washington Friday night takes on the Rock Creek Christian Academy winner from Tuesday night. Greg, Borden, Henryville, pretty good teams.
Well, let's talk about the team that's not here. That would be Lanesville, that is usually in this group, but now is in 2A. Although Borden would say, now, wait a minute, we just beat them anyway. In the longest game in Indiana high school history that took 45 days to complete. Started it on December the 12th, finished it yesterday. They played 4 minutes and won 34-33 in overtime to claim the Southern Athletic Conference championship. You know, Borden is really good. They're 15-5, and all of their losses have been to schools for larger classifications. So the Braves are the favorite on their home court in Sectional 63.
We wrap up the southern part of the state in Sectional number 64. On Tuesday night, Springs Valley will play Cannleton in the only game of the night. Number 16, Northeast DuBois will play Wood Memorial, who's ranked number 9 on the second game on Tuesday night. On Friday night, Tecumseh, number 15, they will play the Springs Valley Cannleton winner. And also on Friday, Evansville Christian will play the Northeast DuBois Wood Memorial winner. Greg, you got some great teams here. I mean, ranked teams. You got 3 ranked teams in this sectional.
Evansville Christian, Wood Memorial each have 14 wins apiece, but normally you start with Tecumseh when they are in 1A. Obviously, they're not too far removed from winning a 1A championship all of 3 years ago. And while they are 8-9 on the season, they're 3-0 against sectional foes. That Tecumseh-Evansville Christian game was an overtime game, and those two would not see each other potentially until a state championship or a sectional championship.
We want to thank great stations around the state that are bringing you this broadcast of the IHSA Champions Radio Network on the Farm Bureau, as sponsored by Farm Bureau. Heard on great stations around the state, like WBIW in Bedford, WPHZ, and also in Bedford and Orleans, WXKU in Austin, WRBI in Batesville, WCSI AM and FM in Columbus, WTRE AM and FM in Greensburg, WZZB in AM and FM in Seymour, WYIR in Ball City, WBNL in Boonville, AM and FM, WCJZ in Cannleton, and WITZ in Jasper, and WQKZ also in Jasper and Ferdinand. When we come back, we'll go to 2A. You're listening to the IHSA Champions Radio Network, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. This is your IHSAA.
Hi, I'm Dwight Freeney. Recently, I had the honor of meeting some incredible kids who are waiting for a life-saving organ transplant here in Indiana. I saw firsthand the importance of saying yes to organ donation. It's not just about saving lives. It's about giving others the chance to grow up, play, and dream big. Signing up as an organ donor is quick and easy. It takes less than a minute, but the difference you can make lasts a lifetime. Learn more at donatelifeindiana.org.
Parents, teachers, school board members, do you want your school to experience the richness of academic freedom or the constraints of a one-size-fits-all federal mandate called Common Core Standards? Advocates for academic freedom is for educational excellence and local control of your school. Come join the fight for your children's education. You can contact us at advocatesforacademicfreedom.org or call 1-715-234-5072.
We all play a role in keeping our community safe.
Every day, we move in and out of each other's busy lives.
It's easy to take for granted all the little moments that make up our everyday.
Some are good, others not so much.
But that's life.
It's when something doesn't seem quite right that it's time to pay attention.
Because only you know what's not supposed to be in your everyday.
So protect your everyday.
If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
Let's go.
Welcome back to the 2025 IHSAA Girls Basketball Tournament Pairing Show presented by the Indiana Fever and the Indiana Pacers on the IHSAA Champions Radio Network. This is your IHSAA. Greg Rakestraw, Bob Lovell bringing you the action, telling you who's playing whom and where. A reminder, I have to read this to you. Show us your viewing party. Tweet us at IHSAA TV and at IHSAA1. Greg, we've been getting great responses around the state. Our most recent ones right here.
North Knox High School, first one in terms of this segment of the show. We referenced the Eagles of Jacksonville a moment ago. They're checking it out again. They have made some frequent trips deep into the tournament in the 1A ranks over the last few years. And a school that we're going to mention, I think, very soon, if we didn't mention them already, South Central of Union Mills. Again, the various watch parties around the state. We'll try to get as many of these to you as we can at IHSAA1 and at IHSAA TV on Twitter. But let's get to 2A North, shall we?
2A North. Let's just go right there without any further ado, so to speak. Let's go to Boone Grove, hosting sectional number 33. 5 teams. Tuesday night's game, Wheeler will play Whiting. Friday night, game 1, Boone Grove takes on Andrean, followed by the Hebron and the Wheeler Whiting winner in the second game on Friday night. Championships obviously on Saturday. Greg, this is a balanced sectional, to say the least.
Yeah, Andrean, though, is the team that gets your attention. 13 wins, the class of the field. They reach the semi-state final and largely play a 3A, 4A schedule. 59ers are the team that's likely to come out of 33 this year.
Sectional number 34 at Knox, 6 teams here. Tuesday night's game, Jimtown will play number 10, Bremen. Also on Tuesday, Knox is matched up with Winnemac Community. Friday night semifinal matchup number 1, LaVille will play the Jimtown Bremen winner from Tuesday night, and Career Academy on Friday night. Their opponent in the second game on Friday night will be the Knox Winnemac Community winner. Greg, Bremen, Winnemac, LaVille, all above 14 wins.
Absolutely. Bremen with 19 wins. They were the story of the postseason last year. They reached the 3A semi-state after going to the postseason at 11-11. So it's a completely different expectation this season. LaVille has 14 wins. Bremen beat them earlier in the season. Winnemac sitting on 13 wins, but again, Bremen the favorite in 34.
Sectional number 35 at Central Noble, 6 teams. 2 games on Tuesday. The first game features Westview taking on Prairie Heights, followed by Central Noble, their opponent, Lakeland. On Friday night, semifinal game number 1, Cherubusco will play the Westview Prairie Heights winner, and at number 4, Eastside will take on the Central Noble Lakeland winner from Tuesday night. Eastside, a tremendous season right now, Greg. I mean, a tremendous year.
22-1. They just won the Northeast Corner Conference Tournament. They've beaten Central Noble twice, both their regular season match and the conference tournament matchup in the last couple of weeks. Their only loss is one of the better teams in Belmont in 3A, and that was by 2 points. Central Noble has beaten Eastside in the sectional each of the last 2 years, and Eastside gets a good test with Westview coming up to end the regular season on Thursday.
Sectional number 36 is played at Bluffton, 6 schools here. Tuesday night, game 1, Woodland will play number 14, Whitco. Second game on Tuesday features Adams Central taking on Fort Wayne Bishop Lures. Friday night, the semifinals, South Adams will play the Woodland Whitco winner from Tuesday night in game number 1, and Bluffton will play the Adams Central Fort Wayne Bishop Lures winner, Bluffton ranked number 7. Greg, Bluffton, great year. They're having a tremendous year.
Yeah, Bluffton 20 wins. They've got sizable wins over everybody in the sectional field they have played. Lures, the defending state champs, but had some graduation losses off of last year's team. Has a new head coach as well, but frankly, given the schedule they play, they're always a threat. And again, Lures and Bluffton don't see each other during the course of the regular season. One of the teams, though, that Lures is going to play is Whitco. In fact, they play tomorrow night. Whitco is 14-4, and as is the case for a lot of teams because of snow postponements earlier this month, they're in the middle of playing a stretch of 6 games in 10 days. But key game in that sectional between Whitco and Lures happens tomorrow night.
Outstanding. Sectional number 37 at Rensselaer Central. 6 teams here. The Bombers, Rensselaer Central in game number 1 on Tuesday. They're ranked number 3. They take on Seeger. followed by Delphi Community and North Montgomery in that matchup. Friday's first semifinal game features Benton Central taking on the Rensselaer Central Seeger winner from Tuesday. Second game in the semifinals, Western Boone will play the Delphi North Montgomery winner. The Bombers have 17 wins and hosting, and that's a tough team to go against.
And again, the Bombers own a 10-point win over Benton Central. And of this group, that's kind of normally who you set your watch to now. Congratulations to David Baxter at Benton Central. Won his 400th game yesterday. Congratulations to the head coach of the Bison. And a special recognition for North Montgomery. 14 wins this year for the Chargers. Most in 12 seasons. Again, Rensselaer Central, likely the favorite, should get a really good test from the Bison of Benton Central in the semifinals.
Sectional number 38 is at Lewis Cass. There are 6 schools in this one. Tuesday night, Lewis Cass will play Eastern of Greentown in game number 1, followed by number 15 Oak Hill's battle with Wabash. Friday night semifinal game number 1, Manchester will play the Cass Eastern winner, and Rochester in game number 2, their opponent will be the Oak Hill Wabash winner. Oak Hill, Wabash, Rochester, Cass, all double-digit wins. How loaded is that sectional?
Well, let's start with Oak Hill. They just had a 15-game winning streak snapped by Ellick yesterday. We'll talk about Alexandria in a couple of sectionals. Oak Hill is 19-2. Wabash has 17 wins. Oak Hill has beaten all the teams in this sectional, but they've all been really competitive games. And you also have some championship experience by Lewis Cass. They made the semi-state for the first time in school history last year. You got some really good teams here in 38, hosted by Cass.
Sectional 39, hosted by Sheridan. 6 schools here. Tuesday night, Taylor will take on LaPel in game 1. Game number 2, Frankton is matched up with Sheridan. Sheridan ranked number 12. On Friday night, semifinal game number 1, Elwood Community will take on the Taylor-LaPel winner. And also on Friday night, game number 2 of the semifinals, Tipton will take on the they'll take on the Frankton-Sheridan winner from Tuesday night. Sheridan with 18 wins, LaPel, Elwood, that's a nice little sectional.
Yeah, Sheridan deserves a lot of the conversation here. 18 wins. They won a regional game last year after picking up just their second sectional title in school history. Now, again, you've got some teams that have moved, not necessarily classification, but halves of the bracket. They were in the southern half of the bracket last year. Now they're in the northern half of the bracket. LaPel has been really good out of this group for a long time. Sheridan beat LaPel by 16 last week. So the Blackhawks, the favorite, hosting sectional 39.
Sectional number 40 is hosted by Alexandria Monroe. 6 teams here. Tuesday night, Muncie Burris will play Alexandria Monroe. On Tuesday night's second game, Eastbrook matched up with Madison Grant. We want to say that Alexandria Monroe ranked number 2. Friday night, game number 1 of the semifinals features Blackford, their opponent, the Muncie Burris or Alexandria Monroe winner from Tuesday. Wapahani in game number 2 on Friday. They will play the Eastbrook Madison Grant winner. Alec, as you said, 20 wins. Wapahani with 17. A couple of really good teams.
Yeah, they're the two to focus on, and they're both looking to end lengthy sectional droughts. Alexandria has not won one in 23 years. Wapahani has not won one since 1999. Alec is 21-1, their lone loss to a 15-win Pendleton Heights team in the Madison County tournament. Jacqueline Hosier. How about this stat line? 26 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, and 8 steals per game. She is top 5 in the state in 3 of those categories, playing for her dad, Mickey, at Alexandria. Again, they're the favorites here in Sectional 40.
All right, it's the northern part of the state in 2A, Greg. Well done. We have a lot to talk about, but we do, before we come back to do the southern part of the state, we want to thank these great stations around the state for bringing you this information tonight. WZBD in Bern and Fort Wayne, WJOB AM and FM in Hammond, WFNI and WIBC in Indianapolis, WSVX AM and FM in Shelbyville, WIOU in Kokomo, and in Rensselaer, WLQI. We'll come back, talk about 2A South. You're listening to the IHSAA Champions Radio Network presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. This is your IHSAA.
It's not easy being a high schooler these days.
We juggle a lot each day between schoolwork, activities, jobs, and friends.
On top of all that, we're multi-sport student athletes. I'm Danae Klein, and I play volleyball, basketball, and softball for South Putnam High School.
And I'm Tyler Stanger, a wrestler and track and field student athlete at East Central High School.
It's hard physically and mentally exhausting yourself in practice.
It's hard coming back and doing it again the next day and the next and the next.
It's hard competing at a high level week in and week out.
But life is hard, and high school sports prepare us for it.
With every practice, every game, every win, and every loss.
I'm IHSAA Commissioner Paul Neidig. Be a champion of high school sports and the life lessons they teach by buying a ticket to your high school's athletic events. This is developing character, perseverance, and work ethic. This is preparing for life. This is your IHSAA.
I'm Sherry Shepard. You probably know me best as a co-host on The View. More importantly, I'm a mom. If you're pregnant or a new mom, you can get timely expert information to help keep your baby healthy, something every mother wants. Through a free service called Text for Baby, women get health tips sent directly to their cell phones to help them care for their babies through the first year. Just text BABY, B-A-B-Y, to 511-411. That's BABY, B-A-B-Y, to 511-411 for the health of your baby.
Welcome back, everyone, to the 2025 IHSAA Girls Basketball Tournament Pairing Show. It's presented by the Indiana Fever and the Indiana Pacers on the IHSAA Champions Radio Network. This is your IHSAA. I'm Bob Lovell from Network Indiana's Indiana Sports Talk. Greg Rakestraw from the ISC Sports Network. We are now moving to 2A South, the southern part of the state. We start with sectional number 41, hosted by Greencastle. 6 teams here. Tuesday night's first game, Park Heritage will play South Vermilion, followed by the South Putnam and Southmont matchup. On Friday night, semifinal game number 1, South Putnam will take on the Park Heritage South Vermilion winner, and Greencastle, their opponent, the North Putnam Southmont winner from Tuesday night. Greg, Park Heritage, 17 wins, having a tremendous season.
And 6 wins against sectional competition. Southmont of this group has played them the closest, that being an 11-point loss. Again, the Wolves have not been around that long, but they've been very successful in boys and girls basketball. The merger of Rockville and Turkey Run, they won this sectional a year ago.
Sectional number 42 is at Monrovia. There are 6 teams here. Monrovia starts it off on Tuesday night. They'll take on Park Tudor. Also Tuesday night, Indianapolis Cardinal Ritter will play Covenant Christian in the second game. Friday night's first semifinal matchup features Riverside taking on the Monrovia Park Tudor winner, followed by University, their opponent, the Cardinal Ritter Covenant Christian winner from Tuesday night. Covenant Christian with 15 wins, you go with them as a favorite?
This is the anything is possible group, and let me explain why. Because Covenant Christian had not lost to anyone in this sectional until yesterday. Monrovia beat them yesterday. Covenant Christian beat Park Tudor University earlier, but both by 2 points. Monrovia has 13 wins, but guess who they've lost to? Park Tudor and University. So really, any of those 4 teams at Monrovia could come out of there the winner. That Monrovia Park Tudor game out of the chute should be really good February the 4th.
Sectional 43 is being played at Triton Central. 7 teams here. Tuesday night's game features Indianapolis Cecina taking on Eastern Hancock. Eastern Hancock ranked number 13. On Wednesday night, game number 1, Heritage Christian will play number 16, Triton Central, followed by Crystal House versus Kip Indy Legacy. That's on Wednesday. Friday night semifinal matchup number 1, Irvington will play the Cecina Eastern Hancock winner. And, Greg, this is a pretty interesting section. Eastern Hancock with 18 wins.
Correct. And again, Eastern Hancock made the semi-state final last year, losing to Brownstown Central. We have to acknowledge the fact Heritage Christian, this is their proper enrollment and classification. Because of their great tradition, they have played up in 3A and 4A for a good chunk of the last several years. They are now in 2A. Eastern Hancock, 18 wins. Triton Central has 12. Again, Heritage Christian's under 500, but they own a victory over Triton Central earlier this year. And by the way, a special recognition to Kenzie Cook, who had 44 in a game earlier this week for Eastern Hancock, resetting her own school record for points in a game.
My apologies to Irvington. They're playing on Friday night. They're playing the Cecina Eastern Hancock winner from Tuesday night. Let's go to Sectional 44, hosted by Hagerstown. 6 teams. Tuesday night's games two of them. Game 1, Hagerstown will play Centerville, followed by Union County taking on Shenandoah. On Friday night, semifinal game number 1, number 5 Northeastern will play the Hagerstown-Centerville winner from Tuesday, followed by Winchester Community taking on Union County and Shenandoah winner. Greg, Northeastern, you mentioned it earlier on the watch party, 20 wins in this season.
Their lone loss is to Cathedral, and I love what Northeastern does. They host this big holiday tournament every year, and they get some really great teams from across the state to come play. That's their one loss. They just played Union County on Wednesday, and they won in a grinder, 31-19. Let's also recognize Shenandoah. They've got 12 wins, but they're a little further west than the rest of this group. They don't play a lot of the teams in this group, so Doa is a team to watch as well, as they and Northeastern don't play each other during the regular season.
Sectional 45 is at South Ripley. 6 teams here. Tuesday night's game, Switzerland County will play Southwestern of Hanover. Also on Tuesday night, Brown County is matched up with Brownstown Central. Friday night semifinal game 1 features South Ripley taking on the Switzerland County Southwestern winner. And Austin in game number 2 of the semifinals. Their opponent will be the Brown County Brownstown Central winner from Tuesday night. Austin, Greg, with 18 wins. B-Town with 16 wins. This is love the top of this sectional.
It's crazy to think about this for Austin. They have not won a girls basketball sectional in 2016, and given the fact they are one of the ultimate pedigree programs in the history of girls basketball, go back to Jody Whitaker 40 years ago, and then what Katie McIntosh did 15 or so years ago at Austin. To say they haven't won one in 9 years, that catches your attention. Austin and Brownstown Central are two of the smaller teams that are in the Mid-Southern Conference, which is a great league and mostly 3A. They'll be battle-tested. Remember, Brownstown Central, last year's runners-up. The Eagles beat the Braves by 4 when they played back in mid-December.
Sectional number 45 at South Ripley. Tuesday night, Switzerland County will play Southwestern of Hanover. Sectional 46, there we go, at Crawford County. Eastern of Pekin will play Paoli on Tuesday night in game 1, followed by the Clarksville-Mitchell matchup. On Wednesday, Crawford County plays Providence. Also on Wednesday, number 8 Lanesville taking on Salem. And the winners obviously play on Friday night. Pretty interesting matchup. Your old school, number 8, ranked number 8. I know you are unbiased. You'll give me a definitive look at this sectional.
Lanesville is the favorite here. And again, they have played most of these teams during the course of the season. They just played Eastern a couple of weeks ago, won by 18. Crawford County back in December gave Lanesville the best game of this group. That was a 12-point win at Crawford County. Again, Lanesville trying to equal what their baseball team did a handful of years ago, and that is move up a class and win a sectional. That's what the Eagles are shooting for under Angie Hinton coming up next week.
Crawford County hosting number 46. We had that. 47 is North Knox. North Knox, Tuesday night, game number 1 at North Knox. 6 schools here, Linton Stockton taking on Sullivan. Game 1. Game 2, West Vigo will play Eastern Green. On Friday night, semifinal game number 1. Number 1, South Knox will play the Linton Stockton Sullivan winner. And in the second semifinal game, number 9, North Knox will play the West Vigo Eastern Green winner. Knox County. Let's just start there.
Last year you had South Knox and North Knox. They were kind of both at the top of this group, and they got so amped up for that game that Lynn Stockton surprised everybody and came out of this group. This year, South Knox is more of a definitive favorite. Both of their losses were at the Hall of Fame Classic. They are a legitimate top 10 team in the state, regardless of classifications. Ella Boba, a potential Indiana All-Star, going to play at Southern Indiana next year. South Knox beat a really good Evansville Central team yesterday afternoon after trailing for most of that game. South Knox the favorite at North Knox in sectional 47.
We wrap up the southern part of the state in 2A by going to sectional number 48, hosted by Forest Park. Tuesday night's game, Pike Central will play Perry Central. Game 1 on Wednesday night features North Posey. They're matched up with Evansville Mater Dei. Also Wednesday night, South Spencer will play Forest Park. Also Friday night, game 1 of the semifinals, Tell City will play the Pike Central Perry Central winner. And those are your matchups, Greg. It's a pretty competitive sectional.
Yeah, Perry Central and North Posey, the two teams that get my attention. They go in opposite halves of the bracket. Perry Central has not won a girls basketball sectional since 2001. They've got 12 wins. I will see the Commodores in action. They're playing Lanesville. I'm doing that game on Tuesday. I look forward to seeing them coming up in a couple of days. North Posey has 14 wins. Those two schools don't play each other. Vikings looking for their first sectional crown in 10 years.
The IHSAA would like to thank its two presenting sponsors for today's broadcast, the Indiana Fever and the Indiana Pacers, and Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. This is your IHSAA. Greg, we'll come back, do 3A North when we return to the IHSAA headquarters and the Vanderweilen Family Studios. This is the IHSAA Champions Radio Network presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. This is your IHSAA.
So, first day at your new job. A lot of nerves, right? Not really. Why? Because when you were getting your associate degree at Ivy Tech Community College, you received hands-on training on state-of-the-art technology. Most of it the same equipment you'll be working on today. You're ready because the staff and faculty at Ivy Tech made sure of it. They met you where you were at, then helped you get where you were going. A new career paying 10 grand more a year than what you can get with just a high school diploma. And it all started at ivytech.edu.
The Indiana Fever are excited to support the IHSAA Girls Basketball State Championships. From high school to the pros, basketball fever hits different in Indiana. We respect the game, we honor the greats, lead the way for the next generation of hoopers, and we crown champions at Gamebridge Fieldhouse, where legends are made. The Fever return in 2025, ready to rise back to the WNBA playoffs, led by Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and head coach Stephanie White. Visit feverbasketball.com for more information.
Yankee legend Bernie Williams has a personal message to share.
Idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, or IPF, is a rare and serious lung disease that affected my dad. Its symptoms, which include shortness of breath, fatigue, and a dry, persistent cough, are similar to other more common conditions like COPD, which means that IPF is often misdiagnosed. There is no cure for IPF, but there are treatments that can help slow disease progression. If you think you or a loved one may have IPF, don't wait. Visit breathlessipf.com to learn more and talk to a pulmonologist today.
Welcome back, everyone, to the 2025 IHSA Girls Basketball Tournament Pairing Show presented by the Indiana Fever and Indiana Pacers on the IHSAA Champions Radio Network. Greg Rakestraw, Bob Lovell. We're honored to be joined by Assistant Commissioner Jane Schott, brand new to the IHSAA headquarters, a longtime successful girls basketball coach. Everyone in the game knows Jane Schott, her tremendous skills as a coach and as a broadcaster, and we're honored to have her. Congratulations on the job. You come right in, and you're tasked with taking care of the 50th Girls State Finals. What a great honor.
Thank you very much. It has been an honor and a pleasure and so much fun because we have been celebrating since the beginning of the season, bringing in different people who are coaches, who were players from the last 50 years who've had such a tremendous impact on the state of Indiana in this great game that we get to play here in Indiana.
You know, I was the clubhouse leader for a long time in terms of interviews done behind this desk. You have since surpassed me because you're doing like a different podcast every day. You are taking this wonderful walk down memory lane. Players, coaches, tell us about what you've been doing all season long.
Well, Greg, when we started to look at the list of who we needed to talk to, we had to do it a couple of weeks to get through everybody because there are so many incredible legends, starting with Judy Warren, and she was our very first. And we've had the pleasure of talking to coaches and players. Stephanie White has joined us. That was a terrific one, as well as so many Miss Basketballs. And it's just been incredible to hear their stories and listen to how important Indiana basketball was to them and what impact it had on their lives and what they did after that and how they took the lessons that they learned. And that's what this is really all about. It's the best time of the year for us. This is the greatest tournament in our state that we like to enjoy in girls basketball, and we're just really thrilled that we get to celebrate the 50th with all these terrific legends. And they're coming back to join us. We're inviting them back March 1st.
All right, this is a brand new role for you in your previous life. As I mentioned, you were a basketball coach. So you've sat through these nights. You've listened. You've watched to see who your teams are going to play. How did you handle that week after finding out who you're playing and you still have opponents left in your regular season? How hard was that?
Well, you know that a lot of people are preparing for that tournament, even though it doesn't start for a week, and that's why we do this pairing show now, so that coaches and players and teams can have an idea of what's going ahead of them. And I think that's what you do. You still have to play the games that are left, but you keep in the back of your mind, what is it that we need to go into the tournament for the run that you want to make?
I think Bob and I have had two guests during a state state finals or during a pairing show bring us gifts as garments. It must be a Purdue thing. The other was Governor Mitch Daniels. The last time we talked to him in the state finals, he brought Bob and I State of Indiana ties. Jane brings us patches, and I want everybody that is watching, listening to a team watch party right now, what I have in my hand is heading to your high school. We've had this tradition of having the state championship teams wear state finals patches, but since it's the 50th, everybody's getting a tournament patch this year. Tell us about it.
So in sectional games, you can put your tournament patch, and the greatest thing is it's a stick-on. So you'll be able to stick it on your home jersey, and then if you win and you get to have to put it on your away jersey, you can put it on the next game and continue to do that throughout the tournament. And yes, it is normally for just the state championships, the teams that make it to the state championship, but we thought because this is the 50th and such a historical tournament, we wanted everybody to enjoy it. And then when you get done with your tournament, whenever you are finished, put it on your computer or put it on your backpack, whatever it is. So it's something the kids can have for the rest of their life.
I think I can do the math on this. I think you have about 5,000 patches. Do you need these two back, or can Bob and I keep them?
You can have them. We
okay,
ordered a couple extras just for
awesome.
this kid.
Appreciate
that. Next segment, I'm throwing mine on the lapel, so I'm going to be all set. Jane, I know you have a tremendous amount of work ahead of you. Thank you for taking time.
Of course.
Congratulations in advance, because I know it's going to be great.
Thank you very much. I cannot wait for this tournament to begin. All I can say is everybody get out and watch, because it's going to be a great one.
Jane Schott from the IHSAA, she tells you what you need to do. You need to pay attention to the coach. All right, we'll come back and start 3A. You're listening to the IHSAA Champions Radio Network presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. This is your IHSAA.
At Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, we're good at insurance. But not just any insurance. We're good at... No. Did you forget the parking brake? Yes, you forgot the parking brake. Insurance. When the forecast calls for cheeseball-sized hail, insurance. Even shouldn't have parked under that tree. Insurance. Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance and stop knocking on wood.
Housing discrimination. Would you recognize it and report it? These folks did.
My landlord said rent will be cheaper if we're friends with benefits.
Because I'm legally blind, a landlord questioned whether I'd be capable of maintaining an apartment.
Our real estate agent said a different neighborhood with people like us might better suit our family.
To learn more about housing discrimination, visit HUD.gov/fair housing. Fair housing is your right. Use it. A public service message from HUD in partnership with the National Fair Housing Alliance.
Did you know that people born from 1945 to 1965 have the highest rates of hepatitis C, but most don't know they're infected? People can live for decades without symptoms, but over time, hepatitis C can cause serious health problems, including liver damage and even liver cancer. If you were born from 1945 to 1965, the CDC recommends that you get a blood test for hepatitis C. So talk to your doctor about getting tested. It could save your life. A message from the CDC.
Welcome back on the IHSAA Champions Network. Greg Rakestraw, Bob Lovell with you. Trust me, Bob's going to read more brackets in a matter of moments, but apparently I'm in charge of a couple of things around here.
That's right.
One of those are watch parties, which we'll get to in a matter of moments, but also keeping it legal. We need to make sure we have a 10-second break for all of our network radio stations to identify themselves. So we're back in a moment on the IHSAA Champions Radio Network, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. This is your IHSAA. And after Bob and I just stared knowingly into the camera for the last 10 seconds, now I will throw to some more watch parties before I let him read the 3A North brackets. Let's go to down by the river, Jeffersonville. They'll see their name called in Sectional 15. Let's go as far away from Jeffersonville as possible. I see just a few Reynolds in that picture. That would be South Bend, Washington, obviously one of the favorites in 4A. And the Batesville Bulldogs getting together as well. Hello, ladies. Keep sending those watch party pictures at IHSAA TV and at IHSAA1 on Twitter.
Well done, Greg. Thank you so much, ladies. Thanks for sending in those great pictures. Keep it up, please. Send your watch party pictures. Tweet us at IHSAA TV and IHSAA1. So we are ready now for 3A. 3A North, let's start with sectional number 17, hosted by Griffith. There are 6 teams here. Tuesday night has 2 games. Game number 1, Calumet will play Griffith, and the second game features Highland and their opponent, Gary Westside. Sectional number 18, 5 schools here at Lowell. On Tuesday night, Hanover Central will play Illiana Christian. On Friday night, game 1 of the semifinals, Kankakee Valley is matched up with Lowell. River Forest will take on the Hanover Central Illiana winner from Tuesday night in semifinal game number 2. Let me go back to sectional number 17, Greg Rakestraw. I kind of slid by there, but Highland with 10-8 right now might be the favorite in this sectional.
Yeah, Highland has the most wins, but everybody has a loss to at least someone else in the sectional. And for example, East Chicago Central has 7 wins all year, but 4 have come against sectional competition. So opportunity here. Now in sectional 18, Lowell has 14 wins. Hanover Central has 13 wins. Lowell beat Hanover Central by 11 in late November. Only 5 wins separate the top 4 teams in this field. So, frankly, both sectional 17 and 18, a lot of parity in those 2 groups.
Sectional 18, hosted by Lowell, 5 teams there. Excuse me. So sectional number 19, excuse me. That's at South Bend St. Joe. On Tuesday night, New Prairie will play Culver Academies. On Friday night, game number 1, Mishawaka Marion. They are matched up with the Plymouth and Glen winner. Also, Friday night, South Bend St. Joe, their opponent, the New Prairie and Culver Academy winner from Tuesday night. Greg, St. Joe, Culver Academy, Glen, Plymouth, all above 500, pretty good teams.
Yeah, 4 teams with 12 to 16 wins on the season. But South Bend St. Joe, the Huskies, are 3-0 against sectional foes. All their wins are by 11 points or more. Last sectional title for the Huskies came back in 2017 when they made it all the way downstate and won the 3A championship.
Sectional number 20 at Fairfield. Tuesday night, West Noble will play Tippecanoe Valley. Second game on Tuesday night, number 15, Columbia City, number 5, Columbia City will take on Northwood ranked number 12. Friday night, semifinal game number 1, Fairfield will play the West Noble Tippecanoe Valley winner, and Wawasee will play the Columbia City Northwood winner. I think obviously a lot of attention on Northwood and Columbia City.
Well, Columbia City is down from 4A, and they are led by one of the best players in the state, Addie Baxter, who's an Indiana All-Star, going to play for Austin Parkinson at Butler. They've won 17 games. Of course, Fairfield is 2 years removed from winning the 3A championship, and they have won 15 games. And Northwood, well, they've won a 3A title in the recent past as well, and they've got 16 wins. And Wawasee is this great pedigree program as well. Right. They have won 13 games. So, again, this group, a really quality group in Sectional 20.
Sectional 21 at Fort Wayne Concordia Lutheran, 7 teams here. Fort Wayne Bishop Dwenger will play Angola on Tuesday night. On Wednesday night, game number 1, East Noble matched up with Fort Wayne Concordia Lutheran. Also on Wednesday, DeKalb will play Garrett. Friday night, semifinal game number 1 features Leo, their opponent, the Bishop Dwenger Angola winner from Tuesday night. All right, Greg, DeKalb, Angola, East Noble, Leo, all above 500.
Yeah, DeKalb gets your attention. They've got 13 wins. They're unbeaten against sectional foes. They have not won a sectional title since 2006. They are down from 4A. East Noble, and they played last week. It was an 8-point victory for the Barons. But again, Bob, you said it. 4 teams have between 11 and 13 wins here in 21.
Sectional 22 is at Norwell. 6 teams here. On Tuesday night, New Haven will play Heritage in the first game. Game number 2 on Tuesday, number 9, Norwell, their opponent, Marion. Friday night, semifinal game number 1, number 6, Belmont will take on the New Haven Heritage winner. And in the second game of the semis on Friday, Mississinawa will play the Norwell Marion winner. How do you not start with 2 ranked teams?
That's where exactly you're starting. Belmont is 18-2. Of course, Norwell was last year's runner-up in 3A. Those 2 teams just played. Belmont won it by 3, 47-44. Norwell has won sectionals 4 of the last 5 years. Guess who won the other year? Belmont. Those 2 teams are the favorites. They would not see each other till a Saturday championship.
Sectional 23 is hosted by Twin Lakes. There are 7 teams in this one. Tuesday's game features Peru taking on Northwestern. Also, on Wednesday, game 1, Logansport will play Western, followed by the Maconaquah Twin Lakes matchup. And then Friday, semifinal game number 1 features West Lafayette, their opponent, the winner of the Peru Northwestern game from Tuesday. Mechaniquah, Peru, evenly matched, Greg?
Mechaniquah's 12 wins lead the group, but everybody has a loss to someone else in the sectional. West Lafayette only has 6 wins, but half of those have come against sectional foes. Now, I want to make sure we give a special shout-out here. Twin Lakes has not had the season that they thought they would because Addie Bausman's been out with a season-long knee injury. She would, I think, have been an Indiana All-Star this year. She's going to head to St. Francis. Special nod to Addie. It's not been the season she had hoped for, but again, there is an opportunity for any of these teams, including Twin Lakes, here in Sectional 23.
Sectional number 24 is at Connorsville. Tuesday night, 2 games. Yorktown will play Newcastle in game 1, followed by Delta taking on Hamilton Heights. On Friday night, semifinal game number 1, Connorsville will take on the Yorktown-Newcastle winner from Tuesday. In the second game of the semis, Jay County will play the Delta-Hamilton Heights winner. Greg, Connorsville at home with 13 wins. Delta, Yorktown right around the same range.
First of all, now again, a lot of these schools play in great gyms, but I'm such a super fan of the Spartan Bowl, so having a tournament there is a great thing. The other thing to acknowledge is that Connorsville was playing in a sectional much further south than this. And they play in the Eastern Indiana Conference. They have now switched halves of the bracket. They're now in the northern half. This is also a great opportunity for all these teams. Delta 14 wins, Connorsville 14 wins, Yorktown 13. Here's the roll call in terms of sectionals. Yorktown hasn't won one since 2011. Connorsville last won in 4A 2013. Delta has not won one since 1993. So, again, great opportunity here in Sectional 24.
Greg Rakestraw wraps it up on the northern part of the state. We'll come back from the southern part of the state. Don't forget, keep sending us your watch party pictures. We do want to remind you that the Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance is the official presenting sponsor of the IHSAA Champions Network, the most comprehensive state high school broadcast network in America. This is your IHSAA.
In sports, only one team walks away with the W.
Only one team gets the trophy.
And only one player is named MVP.
But that doesn't mean everyone else who competed leaves empty-handed. I'm Allie Ward from Boonville High School.
And I'm Caleb Ferguson from Columbus North High School. In education-based athletics, no matter who comes out on top, every student-athlete walks away having grown as a person.
Every team walks away learning invaluable life lessons.
From responsibility to collaboration to integrity.
We're thankful to have coaches and mentors who always prioritize learning and growing over winning at all costs.
They're helping us build a mentality of development that will benefit us for the rest of our lives.
I'm IHSAA Commissioner Paul Knighty. Be a champion of high school sports and the growth mindset they develop by buying a ticket to your high school's athletic events. This is keeping education in front of athletics. This is the second classroom. This is your IHSAA.
Hey, Dad.
Yeah?
You remember that ball game we went to a couple years ago?
Sure.
And how you didn't have enough cash for 2 hot dogs, so you walked with me on your shoulders until we found an ATM? And then when we got back to our seats, we never saw the hot dog guy again.
Well, I don't remember all that.
Yeah, that was an awesome game.
You never know which moments will be the ones they'll remember forever. So take time to be a dad today. Learn more at 1-877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Welcome back, everyone, to the 2025 IHSAA Girls Basketball Tournament Pairing Show, presented by the Indiana Fever and the Indiana Pacers on the IHSAA Champions Radio Network. This is your IHSAA. You've been tremendous on the response of sending in your watch parties. Greg, we have a few more to talk about.
And we do a wonderful job of spreading them around the state as well. So the northeast corner we go, Central Noble, checking out the festivities tonight. Best of luck, ladies. Kankakee Valley, up closer towards the region. Again, that's like at a movie theater that they are watching.
They know how to do it up at KB.
I think that's an old-school closed-circuit pay-per-view they're watching. And then Shelbyville is getting together as well, checking out all of the action. Keep those watch party pictures coming at IHSAA TV and at IHSAA1.
Greg Rakestraw from the IFC Network. I'm Bob Lovell from the Indiana Sports Talk on from Network Indiana. Sectional number 25. Greg, allow me pay a certain homage to my birthplace. I was born in Lebanon. I won't tell you how many years ago. I think everyone understands It was a long while ago. Sectional 25 at 11 and 7 teams. Tuesday night's game is Tri-West of Hendricks taking on Frankfort. On Wednesday, number 7 Danville Community will play Crawfordsville. Wednesday, game 2, Brebeuf Jesuit Preparatory School taking on the host Lebanon. On Friday night, Gary Catholic in game 1 of the semifinals. They're matched up with the Tri-West Hendricks Frankfort winner in semifinal game number 2 on Friday, number 1 on Friday. Danville ranked highly, playing well. Brebeuf having a decent year, as is Tri-West.
Yeah, Danville catches your attention. They lost in the semi-state final last year. They got 17 wins this season. What a job Kaylee May does there. She's averaging nearly 20 wins a season at Danville. All their losses to 4A competition, including McCutcheon this past week. How about Emma Anslet of Danville, leading the state in assists at 7.2 assists per game. Again, Danville the favorite at their rivals Lebanon.
Sectional number 26, hosted by Indianapolis Cathedral. 6 teams here. Tuesday night, 2 games. Game 1, number 10 Cathedral will play number 11 Indianapolis Bishop Chittard. Game 2 on Tuesday at Cathedral. Shortridge of Indianapolis will play Heron. Friday night semifinal game number 1, Indianapolis Crispus Attucks will take on the Cathedral Chittard winner from Tuesday. On Friday, game 2 of the semis, Purdue Polytechnic downtown. They'll take on the winner of the Shortridge and Heron game from Tuesday night.
Well, I would say the winners of this group would be the 3 teams in the bottom half of the bracket in terms of Heron and Shortridge and Purdue Poly, who have all had really good seasons. Cathedral and Chittard, this is a rematch of the city championship game in which Cathedral beat Chittard by 3 just a week or 2 ago. 5 of the 6 teams in this group have between 12 and 15 wins, and of note, Cathedral and Attucks have both made the drop down from 4A to 3A this year.
Sectional number 27, Northview is the host. Tuesday night, 2 games. Game 1, Owen Valley will play Speedway. The second game of the night on Tuesday, Edgewood, their opponent, number 14, Northview. On Friday night, semifinal game number 1, Indianapolis, George Washington. They will play the Owen Valley Speedway winner. And the second game of the semifinals features Cascade, their opponent from Tuesday night, the Edgewood Northview winner. Greg, Northview having a great year. OV's playing well. Edgewood over 500.
Yeah, you got to say Northview is the favorite. And again, you got half these teams that are part of the Western Indiana Conference, some teams that maybe don't see each other on a regular basis. As Cascade's ready to switch leagues, but again, you said it. Northview is the favorite. They've got 16 wins. They've got double-digit wins over Edgewood and Owen Valley. And at home, I like Northview's chances.
Sectional number 28, hosted by Indian Creek. Tuesday night's game features the host, Indian Creek, taking on Beech Grove. Wednesday night's first game, Rushville Consolidated will play Shelbyville, followed by the Greenwood Community New Palestine matchup. Roncalli on Friday in semifinal game number 1. Their opponent, the Indian Creek Beech Grove winner from Tuesday night. This is a balanced sectional in the sense that there's no one, 10, 11, 12 wins is the norm in this section.
Yeah, to your point, 5 teams have between 10 and 13 wins. Roncalli and New Pal both down from 4A. Roncalli's been dealing with injuries a good chunk of the year. Indian Creek's got 13. Got to remember, they're 2 years removed from being the semi-state runner-up. They also don't have a 6'4" center on this year's team. She's now playing at Indiana University. Craig Moore has done a great job at New Pal. Roncalli just beat them by 10, the Dragons, by 10 points on Tuesday. If you had to pick a favorite, probably Roncalli, but it could be anybody of this group.
Sectional 29 is at Lawrenceburg. 6 schools here. Tuesday night's first game, Batesville will play Franklin Community, followed by the Greensburg-Lawrenceburg matchup. Greensburg ranked number 1. Friday night, semifinal game number 1, Jennings County will play the Batesville-Franklin winner from Tuesday. South Dearborn in game number 2 on the semifinals. Their opponent, the Greensburg-Lawrenceburg winner. Greg, Greensburg, great season, tremendous season.
Now, for those of you that are watching on the feed right now, just don't worry, Franklin County, not Franklin Community.
Excuse me.
That's okay, you didn't read that incorrectly. EIAC tournament largely here with the introduction of Jennings County. Now, again, Jennings County, we need to talk about them. Molly Ernst is really good. Went over 1,000 points at Jennings County, and they're winning its BNL last week, and they are down from 4A, where they were competing for a sectional title last year. But the story here is obviously Greensburg.
Right.
Coach Jason Simpson's team at 19-0. Leah West going to go play for Belmont down in Nashville in the Missouri Valley Conference next year. There's some really good talent here. Greensburg and Batesville just played yesterday. Pirates won by 19. Greensburg will be the favorite here in Sectional 29.
Sectional number 30 is at Scottsburg. On Tuesday night, Charlestown will play number 8 Corydon Central. Also Tuesday night, number 3 Silver Creek is matched up with Madison Consolidated. Friday night, semifinal game number 1, North Harrison will take on the Charlestown Corydon Central winner, followed by the Scottsburg matchup with the winner of Silver Creek and Madison Consolidated. Silver Creek, Corydon Central, 16 wins, but you also have Charlestown and Madison with 13 wins. Man, oh man.
Well, let's go back all of a week ago. Silver Creek beat Corydon 80-79.
Okay.
That tells you kind of all you need to know. Again, Madison just played Corydon. Corydon won by 18. Scottsburg, the pressure cooker, being at home. Again, these teams all know each other so well. But again, this is likely charting towards a rematch between Corydon and Silver Creek.
Sectional 31 at Jasper. It's a 5-team sectional. Tuesday night's game features the host, Jasper, taking on Vincennes Lincoln. Friday night semifinal game number 1, Southridge will play Washington. And the second semifinal game, Princeton Community, is matched up with the Jasper Vincennes Lincoln winner from Tuesday. Washington having a tremendous season right now, Greg.
Yeah, 19 wins for head coach Gretchen Miles at Washington. And Jasper now back down in 3A. They've got 13 wins. Both Southridge and the Alice's each have 11. Again, the game to look back on from the regular season, the Hatchets and Jasper played to a 2-point game won by Washington in mid-December, and the Hatchets are the defending sectional champs.
Sectional 32 is at Evansville Central. On Tuesday night, Evansville Bossy will play number 13, Heritage Hills. Also Tuesday night, Boonville matched up with Evansville Central. Central ranked number 4. Friday night semifinal game number 1, Evansville Wrights Memorial will take on the Bossy Heritage Hills winner. And in the second semifinal game, Mount Vernon will play the Boonville Evansville Central winner. Evansville Central, 18 wins. How do you not focus on them?
And let's talk about Maddie Shirley, who is now the all-time leading scorer at Evansville Central. The Bears are 8 wins clear of the field. Again, they have been in 4A. They now dropped to 3A. Let's also recognize who's not here. Gibson Southern from this sectional won the 3A title last year. They are now playing in 4A. And again, Memorial is a team you always focus on. The battles that they and Gibson Southern have had in this sectional have been pretty legendary. Again, it won't happen this year. Memorial a little bit down. They're 6-10 by their standards. Central just beat Memorial by 19 earlier this week.
Today's broadcast of the IHSA Champions Network brought to you in part by Ivy Tech Community College. An Ivy Tech associate degree means you got hands-on training on state-of-the-art technology. It also means you're earning $10K more a year than if you just had a high school diploma. So get started at ivytech.edu. More to come. We have 4A coming up when we return. More watch parties. Stay with us. You're listening to the IHSAA Champions Radio Network presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. This is your IHSAA.
The Indiana Fever are excited to support the IHSAA Girls Basketball State Championships. From high school to the pros, Basketball Fever hits different in Indiana. We respect the game. We honor the greats, lead the way for the next generation of hoopers, and we crown champions at Gamebridge Fieldhouse, where legends are made. The Fever return in 2025, ready to rise back to the WNBA playoffs, led by Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and head coach Stephanie White. Visit feverbasketball.com for more information.
Who appreciates the value of an Ivy Tech Community College associate degree? Well, the state's largest colleges, for starters. Over 20 have partnered with us in our guaranteed admissions program, where an Ivy Tech associate degree guarantees admission to their bachelor's degree program. Who else? The 70,000 plus high school students each year who earn college credit in high school and save on tuition by doing it. But as valuable as an Ivy Tech degree is, the real value lies in the better life it makes possible. Let's get started today at ivytech.edu.
I'm Deidre Hall with a message about your eye health. My mother had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD, which means my family members are at greater risk.
I'm Dr. Sada of Doheny UCLA. AMD is the most common cause of severe, irreversible vision loss in older adults. If a healthcare professional suspects AMD, a retina specialist can confirm the diagnosis and work with you on a treatment plan.
Routine eye care can help maintain your vision. Visit geteyesmart.org for more information.
Welcome back, everyone, to the 2025 IHSAA Girls Basketball Tournament Pairing Show, presented by the Indiana Fever and the Indiana Pacers on the IHSAA Champions Radio Network. This is your IHSAA. Greg Rakestraw, watch parties, watch parties, watch parties.
They are partying on the streets, or the Strasses of Oldenburg, as they would say down there. Oldenburg Academy getting together to enjoy the festivities. Lakewood Park Christian checking in from the 1A north side of things, and Franklin County also checking us out tonight. Hello, Wildcats down in southeastern Indiana. Only a couple of more segments to get those pictures in. IHSAA1 and IHSAA TV on Twitter or X or whatever it's called these days.
Would you like to do 4A?
Let's go.
Ready to do that?
How about it?
Let's have some fun. Sectional number 1 is at Crown Point. 5 teams in this one. Tuesday night, the host, Crown Point, will take on Hammond Central. Friday night, semifinal game 1, Lake Central will take on Munster. Friday night, semifinal game 2, Hammond Morton, their opponent, the Crown Point Hammond Central winner from Tuesday night. So Hammond Central, Lake Central, Hammond Morton, everybody's got a winning record in this section.
Everybody's 500 or better. Now, the big game in this sectional may have happened on Friday night, where the Hammond Bowl happened. Morton and Central won by 16. Remember, Hammond Central's all of 4 years old.
Right.
They have not won a sectional yet, and again, Lake Central, out of this group, made the state finals last year with 15 wins, but Hammond Central has beaten 3 of the 4 teams they have played in this group. Could be Hammond Central's first go-round of the sectional title.
All right, sectional number 2 is at Chesterton. 5 teams here. Tuesday night's game, Valparaiso will play Hobart. Friday night game number 1, Chesterton matched up with Merrillville. Second game of the semis on Friday night. Portage will play the Valpo-Hobart winner from Tuesday night. Again, 12, 13 wins is the norm in this section.
Let's talk about Valparaiso, because I referenced Lake Central. Valparaiso, the way the schedule worked out, Valpo and LC were both 6-0 in the Duneland, and they played Friday night.
Right.
And Valpo won in overtime to claim an unbeaten league championship. They're likely the favorite here. They're 3-0 against sectional foes with all wins by 14 or more. So, yes, 3 teams have 13 or more wins. They're all shooting for the Vikings in the Chesterton section.
Sectional number 3 is at LaPorte. Tuesday night, Mishawaka will take on South Bend Riley. On Wednesday, game number 1 features Michigan City, their opponent, South Bend Adams. The second game on Wednesday, number 4, South Bend Washington will play Penn. Penn is ranked number 11. You have to start with South Bend Washington. They've had a tremendous run. They're still really, really good. Penn having a great year. Greg, Riley's got 11 wins. This is a tough sectional.
From a team standpoint, it likely comes down to Penn and South Bend Washington. They played to a 2-point game with Washington getting the win back on December the 6th. Obviously, Kira Reynolds had a double-double of a double-double or something like that. Had double digits in all of these different stats. The last of the sisters that's going to head to play at Purdue University. What a tremendous run it has been for the Reynolds family. Now the focus will go to the boys basketball team with the next wave of the Reynolds kids that are coming through. They've won sectionals the last couple of years. In 4A have South Bend Washington. And of note, they did not have a game on their schedule the last 2 weeks of the season. They have picked up a team to play out of Illinois coming up on Wednesday, because as it had stood, their last game was January the 18th. Again, that Penn and South Bend Washington game on Wednesday night at LaPorte, that place should be packed to see that quality of a game, first game of the sectional.
Sectional number 4 is at Warsaw. 5 teams here. Tuesday night's game, Elkhart will play Concord. On Friday night, semifinal game number 1, number 13, Northridge will play Goshen, followed by number 3, Warsaw Community taking on the Elkhart Concord winner. Warsaw, Northridge, really 17, 18 wins.
Yeah, Warsaw was unbeaten until this week. Homestead got the best of them on Tuesday. Warsaw beat Northridge when they played by 16 on January the 11th. Northridge beat Warsaw by 2 last year in the sectional. Congratulations, Brooke Zartman and Jocelyn Bricker for Warsaw. Both gone over 1,000 career points in the last couple of weeks. It likely comes down to those 2 teams in the sectional championship.
Sectional number 5 at Fort Wayne Northrop on first game of the semifinals. There are 4 teams in this one, so you have semifinals on Friday. Fort Wayne Northrop takes on Fort Wayne Northside. Second game of the semifinals will feature Fort Wayne Snyder taking on Carroll. Northrop with 14 wins. Greg, you start there.
Yeah, the average kind of sectional in terms of team numbers in 4A, now that we have shrunk it down to about 80 teams, is 5. Because of geography, we got a couple of 4-team sectionals in Fort Wayne. The focus here is the host team in Northrop. They've got 15 wins. They've got 2 wins against sectional foes. The Bruins have not won a sectional in 16 years. So their wins were by 9 and 10. They're top teams in the sectional. So a heavy favorite, no, but Northrop is the favorite here in their own sectional.
Greg, we go to sectional number 6 at Homestead. As you point out, 4-team sectionals. Homestead is hosting 4 teams there. Friday night, game number 1. Fort Wayne Southside will play Huntington North, followed by the Fort Wayne Homestead matchup. Homestead is ranked number 5. Hard not to start with Homestead.
Last year was the rare year that Homestead wasn't the sectional favorite, and they won it anyway. That was with Columbia City, who is now down in 3A. Listen, I think Homestead's the favorite to win next year, and they could play deep in the tournament this year. They're almost all juniors. They're a tremendous three-point shooting team. Gabby Helsom just committed to Toledo, and again, they beat a really good Warsaw team on Tuesday. So they've won 10 of 11 sectionals, and we'll probably add to that here in a couple of weeks.
Sectional number 7 is at Harrison of West Lafayette. 4 teams here. On Friday night, Lafayette Jefferson will play the host Harrison. The second game of the semifinals features Kokomo taking on number 15 McCutcheon. McCutcheon, 19 wins, having a tremendous season. Jeff has 14 wins. It's a pretty competitive sectional, even though they're 4 schools.
I'm glad you pointed out Kokomo's had a really good year, too. First winning season for Jeff in 6 years, but McCutcheon is the favorite. They've got one of the best sophomores in the Midwest, if not the country, in Lily Graves. 18 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals per game. Again, wins of 9 and 10 against Kokomo and Lafayette Jeff. For McCutcheon, they're looking to win back-to-back sectionals for the first time in 13 years.
Sectional number 8 is at Noblesville. 6 teams here. Tuesday night's game features Fishers taking on number 1 Hamilton Southeastern. Also Tuesday night, Carmel will play number 6 Noblesville. Friday night, semifinal game 1, Zionsville matched up with the Fishers HSE winner from Tuesday. And the second semifinal game on Friday has Westfield taking on the Carmel Noblesville winner. The battle for Hamilton County is always a fierce one.
And again, this is the one sectional that is unchanged from previous iterations. These 6 teams have remained together. HSE is number 1 and unbeaten. I had the honor of having the call of Hamilton Southeastern, Lawrence Central, along with Assistant Commissioner Jane Schott back on December the 27th. It could be those 2 teams again in the state final. There's a little more separation, I think, from top to bottom in this group than in years gone by. The story is HSE and Noblesville wouldn't see each other until they played in the championship game. It was a 4-point game when they played on December the 4th. Noblesville hasn't lost since. They have won 13 consecutive games. And a quick nod to Izzy Shepard of Carmel, who unfortunately out for the year due to an ACL injury. He's had successful surgery on Friday. Best of luck, Izzy, in rehab, and we'll see you playing at Huntington University next year.
All right, that's 4A North. We'll come back after this short break and talk about 4A South. But we do want to thank great stations around the state like WRIN, AM and FM in Rensselaer, WFLQ in French Lick, WKLO in Ardensburg, WXVW in Jeffersonville, AM and FM, WUME in Paoli, WSLM AM in Salem. Greg, much more to come. We're back after this short break talking about 4A South. You're listening to the IHSAA Champions Radio Network presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. This is your IHSAA.
I'm Pro Football Hall of Famer Dwight Freeney, here to talk to you about something that truly matters, organ donation. Recently, I had the honor of meeting some incredible kids who are waiting for a life-saving organ transplant here in Indiana. These kids are fighters. They're full of dreams and hope, and their lives depend on people just like you to say yes to organ donation. Right now, thousands of people are waiting for a life-saving organ transplant. You have the power to help. By saying yes to organ donation, you can give someone a second chance at life.
I get to play football, I get to play basketball, I get to ride a bike, I get to do all this amazing stuff that makes me happy.
It takes less than a minute, but the difference you can make lasts a lifetime. Visit donatelifeindiana.org or say yes to organ donation next time you're at the BMV.
More than 100 million wild animals are killed each year illegally. Poaching is a major threat to our country's wildlife. I'm Tom Barry. I'm an actor with a desire to preserve living space for wildlife. The Humane Society Wildlife Land Trust does just that. Works with private landowners to protect wildlife, to preserve natural habitats. To learn more or to work with the Humane Society Wildlife Land Trust, call 800-729-SAVE. That's 800-729-SAVE, or visit wildlifelandtrust.org. Thank you.
Welcome back, everyone. This is the 2025 IHSAA Girls Basketball Tournament Pairing Show. It's presented by the Indiana Fever and the Indiana Pacers on the IHSAA Champions Radio Network. This is your IHSAA. I'm Bob Lovell alongside Greg Rakestraw. He's pretty good, folks. I would tell you he's got a laptop in front of him, but trust me when I tell you, he never looks at it. He's got all this info in there.
When you're reading. That's the way this works. You don't see me reading.
I understand. Let's go to sectional number 9 at Mount Vernon of Fortville. 6 teams here. 2 games on Tuesday night. Game 1, Richmond will play Greenfield Central, followed by the Anderson-Muncie Central matchup. On Friday night, the semifinals show Mount Vernon of Fortville taking on the Richmond-Greenfield Central winner. In the second game of the semifinals, Pendleton Heights will play the Anderson-Muncie Central winner. All right, Greg, Greenfield Central, 15 wins, Mount Vernon, 14, Pendleton Heights, 15. 3 pretty good records there.
There's not 3 teams in a sectional that I can't separate more than that trio of teams right there. So let me explain. They actually all have 15 wins now because Mount Vernon beat Greenfield Central on Friday night in double overtime. Pendleton Heights is 15-6 as well, and their schedule has been rugged. Like, for example, they hosted Lawrence Central early in the season. Pendleton Heights has kind of the biggest one of the group, beat Mount Vernon by 22, but they lost to Greenfield Central by a point. So the fact that those 3 teams won't see each other at least to the semifinals, probably a good thing for those squads, and Pendleton Heights probably got the best draw. They wouldn't play both of those teams just one in the championship game.
Lawrence North is hosting sectional number 10, 5 schools here. Tuesday night's matchup, Warren Central will play North Central of Indianapolis. Friday night, semifinal game number 1, number 14, Lawrence North will play Indianapolis Arsenal Technical. Also Friday night, number 2, Lawrence Central will take on the Lawrence North Indianapolis Arsenal Technical winner from earlier in the week. What a loaded sectional.
So again, the question is, can somebody get to LC? You know, they have lost once in the last 2 years to a team from the state of Indiana. It was Hamilton Southeastern on a buzzer beater in a 52-50 game. LC has 4 likely Division I starters, 2 of them that are seniors in Jayla Lampley going to Mississippi State. Layla Abdur-Rakib is going to go to New Mexico. Then again, LN has 2 Division I starters as well. And Kaya Hurt going to Illinois State, Jemiah Thomas going to Northern Kentucky. The first time LN and LC played was a 1-point game. They played last week, and it was decisively in favor of LC. Can LN kind of learn from that loss if they see LC again in the championship?
Sectional number 11 is at Ben Davis. There are 5 schools here. Number 9, Brownsburg, will take on number 8, Pike on Tuesday night. Ben Davis will play Avon Friday night, semifinal game number 1, followed by number 10, Plainfield. Their opponent, the winner of the Brownsburg-Pike matchup from Tuesday. This is a loaded sectional.
And it's
a loaded sectional.
And it's a new sectional. And so basically kind of took half teams from 2 sectionals, and it makes a lot of geographic sense because they're all close to each other. And they're also all really good. Everybody's got double-digit wins. Pike and Plainfield won sectionals last year and played each other in the regional in a great game that Plainfield won at Decatur Central. How about this? Your Plainfield Quakers just won the Hendricks County Tourney. Avery Gordon of Brownsburg is going to go to Purdue. Anaya Smith is the all-time leading scorer at Avon. She's going to play at Jacksonville University. Stan Benge of Ben Davis has now won 700 games. There's storylines amongst all of those teams. If I was leaning towards a favorite, it would be Plainfield. It could literally be any of these 5 teams.
It's nice to hear. Thank you very much. And that was Greg, not me, saying Plainfield. I just want to clear that up for everyone. Sectional number 12 is at Franklin Central. On Tuesday night, Franklin Central will play number 7 Center Grove. The second game on Tuesday, Perry Meridian is matched up with Mooresville. Friday night, semifinal game number 1, Southport will play the Franklin Central Center Grove winner. And the second game of the semis on Friday, Decatur Central is matched up with the Perry Meridian Mooresville winner from Tuesday night. Center Grove having a great run, Greg, with 17 wins, but this is a very competitive sectional. A lot of people above 10 wins.
Well, let's talk about the new kids on the block, and that's Center Grove. So they were moved further north in the bracket. They had kind of avoided the Indianapolis regionals for some time. Now they're back with the Marion County schools again. They made the semi-state last year, where not for a late-game injury, maybe they're playing at Gamebridge Fieldhouse instead of Lawrence Central. They've got 17 wins, but Mooresville and Franklin Central, they each have 14 wins as well. And Mooresville kind of switched sectionals of this group as well. Really balanced group here, and that Center Grove Franklin Central matchup out of the gate should be an outstanding one.
Sectional number 13 is at Martinsville. Martinsville will play Terre Haute South Vigo on Tuesday night. Friday night, semifinal game number 1, Terre Haute North Vigo is matched up with number 12 Bloomington South. Also on Friday, Bloomington North will play the Martinsville Terre Haute South winner from Tuesday night. The Bloomington schools having decent years.
Bloomington South is the one that catches your attention. They're 19-2, looking to win their first sectional crown in 6 years.
Sectional 14 to Columbus North on Tuesday night. Columbus East will play Whiteland Community. Friday night semifinal game 1, Franklin Community is matched up with East Central. Second game of the semis at Columbus North will feature the host Columbus North Bulldogs, their opponent, the Columbus East Whiteland Community winner from Tuesday night. Columbus North, a decent year hosting. You got to start talking about them.
Kind of similar we said about Austin. When you say Austin hadn't won a sectional in 9 years, I got to check the facts on this. Same with Columbus North. They have not won one in the last 8 years, and they're about a decade removed from winning a state championship. So you're right. Columbus North is the clear favorite here in sectional 14.
We wrap up 4A by going to sectional number 16. It's at, sectional number 15 is at Seymour. We're not wrapping it up. Sectional number 15 at Seymour, Jeffersonville will play Floyd Central on Tuesday night. Friday night semifinal game 1, Bedford take on Bedford North Lawrence takes on New Albany. And then on Friday night, Seymour will play the Jeffersonville Floyd Central winner in semifinal action. Floyd Central, 17 wins.
Yeah, again, first of all, let's acknowledge a couple of teams that have been in this group, but they're not. Jennings County went enrollment-wise to 3A. Silver Creek, after the success factor, has returned now to 3A. And again, Bedford North Lawrence has the longest active sectional streak in the state in boys or girls basketball with 13 in a row. But Floyd Central, this appears to be their time. Floyd Central now is led by Jerry Hickey, who led Salem to 3A final back in 2020. The only sectional title for Floyd Central in the multi-class era happened 15 years ago, but they're the favorites here. They are 8 wins clear of the field, and they beat Bedford Lawrence this week. Highlanders the favorite in sectional 15.
Sectional 16 is at Evansville Wrights. Tuesday night, Gibson Southern will play Evansville North. Friday night semifinal game number 1, Evansville Harrison is matched up with Wrights. Also on Friday night, Castle will play the second semifinal game. Their opponent, the Gibson Southern Evansville North winner from Tuesday night. Castle, Wrights, Gibson Southern, North, a double-digit win.
Of those 4 games, I think there are 3 fantastic games at that sectional. So first of all, again, we referenced Gibson Southern defending 3A champs. They are now up in 4A. 4 of the 5 teams have 12 or more wins. Everyone has a loss to somebody else in this group. Kind of the latest big game of the group, Castle beat Wrights on Tuesday, and that was Wrights' first loss to a sectional team.
If you weren't able to write all this down and follow it, we encourage you to go to ihsaa.org for all the pairings. You can go there. It's your source of information anytime you have questions. Greg, that wraps up the pairings. We're going to come back and talk about regional matchups. And when we come back, and maybe we got time for more watch parties, do we not?
I got just a couple here waiting.
All right, we will do that when we come back. You're listening to the IHSAA Champions Radio Network, presented by the Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. This is your IHSAA.
At Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, we're good at insurance. But not just any insurance. We're good at fireworks don't go in the attic insurance. Hole in window insurance. Even guy that shouldn't have a chainsaw but has a chainsaw insurance. Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance and stop knocking on wood.
The Indiana Fever are excited to support the IHSAA Girls Basketball State Championships. From high school to the pros, Basketball Fever hits different in Indiana. We respect the game, we honor the greats, lead the way for the next generation of hoopers, and we crown champions at Gamebridge Fieldhouse, where legends are made. The Fever return in 2025, ready to rise back to the WNBA playoffs, led by Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and head coach Stephanie White. Visit feverbasketball.com for more information.
Your mortgage payments. The National Foundation for Credit Counseling is a nonprofit organization that has helped consumers in situations just like yours for more than 60 years. Our certified housing specialists will work with you to review your finances and create a custom plan that's right for your specific situation. NFCC member agencies provide free and affordable help and meet U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development standards. Call 866-687-6322 or visit mortgagehelpnow.org.
Welcome back, everyone, to the 2025 IHSAA Girls Basketball Tournament Pairing Show, presented by the Indiana by the Indiana Fever and Indiana Pacers on the IHSAA Champions Radio Network. This is your IHSAA. All right, Greg, sectionals.
Yep.
Everyone, now is looking, going, we got screwed, we got cheated. We're excited.
Nobody would say that.
We got a perfect draw.
Hashtag face of sportsmanship.
We got a perfect draw. We got all that stuff.
Fair and balanced.
Before we talk about the regionals, we still have watch parties. People are all over the place.
Everybody's happy about watch parties.
That's
we'll
exactly
remember
right.
their draws later. All right, so Lafayette Jeff, very school-like setting. Get together to watch the festivities
like
for the Broncos. We're going to have a great season. The Daleville squad getting together. Nice house party there. And Centerville also checking out. Even brought balloons for the watch party. Probably have maybe a chance to get 2 or 3 more pictures in, so keep those coming too. IHSAA 1 or IHSAA TV. And now the last drawn part of the tournament.
Right.
Because remember, there's going to be a second pairing show for the teams that advance to the semi-state round of the tournament. So kind of the stopping part, the last part that we draw, are regionals. So let's get right to it. We'll start in 1A. And again, what we do is we list the sectional sites. Winner of this sectional plays the winner of this sectional. And again, you could go to a different regional site. There might be 1A, 4A, 2A, 3A, whatever the case may be. That will be announced after the sectional championship. So to the northern half of 1A we go. The winner of the sectional at Oregon Davis will take on the winner of the sectional at Bethany Christian. The winner of the sectional at Bowman Academy, for example, that would be potentially Marquette Catholic, the favorite there, against the winner at West Central. West Central's got a very good team. Tri-County might be the favorite in that sectional. The winner at Randolph Southern will take on the winner at Fountain Central. Then the winner at Clinton Prairie will take on the winner at Tri-Central. So again, those are the regional draws for the schools in the northern half of 1A. In the southern half of 1A, the winner at Eminence will take on the winner at Anderson Preparatory Academy. The winner at Southwestern of Shelbyville will take on the winner at Hauser. Then we get to the next regional, which would be the winner at Northeast Du Bois against the winner at Clay City. Then we would have the winner at Bar Reeve, potentially Orleans the favorite, and again the winner at Borden, with the Braves being the favorite there. So that's the 1A regional pairings. Now let's go to the 2A regional pairings up north. Central Noble, again, east side maybe the favorite in that one, against the winner at Boone Grove. The next up would be the winner at Bluffton would take on the winner at Knox. The next regional, the winner at Rensselaer Central. The Bombers have a great season. Benton Central's been really good. Alexandria Monroe is the host, maybe the favorite. That is sectional number 40. Then the winner at Lewis Cass, Oak Hill is 19-2 out of that group. They would take on Sheridan, as in the winner at Sheridan, and again, Sheridan the favorite in that sectional. So that's what the regional matchups would be in the northern half of the bracket. In the southern half of the bracket, the winner at Monrovia, very balanced sectional, takes on the winner at Greencastle. Again, Park Heritage, the favorite at Greencastle. At Hagerstown, again, Northeastern, the likely favorite there, against the Triton Central winner, which could be really any one of a couple of 3 teams, Eastern Hancock, Triton Central, Heritage Christian, all part of that group. Crawford County winner, sectional 46, regional 23. You probably know who I'm rooting for in that one. North Knox, again, that could be likely, you would think, South Knox, so maybe a couple of heavyweights could see each other in the regional. Then finally at Forest Park, we talked about the stories of Perry Central and North Posey against the winner at South Ripley. By the way, South Ripley's had a really good season too, but again, Austin and Brownstown, the likely favorites there. Now we get to 3A, the northern half of the 3A bracket. The winner at Fairfield, a really loaded group at Fairfield, against the winner at Lowell. Then the winner of the South Bend St. Joseph sectional will take on the winner of the Griffith sectional. Now we get to regional number 11. The winner at Fort Wayne Concordia Lutheran takes on the winner at Norwell. Again, likely Norwell or Belmont comes from that group. The winner at Twin Lakes, which is a pretty open sectional, takes on the winner at the Spartan Bowl in Connorsville. Again, Delta, Yorktown, and Connorsville, all teams that might make their way to a regional in 3A North. 3A South in terms of that part of the bracket. The winner at Cathedral will take on the winner at Northview. It could be the two teams you see on your screen. Next regional, winner at Indian Creek, Roncalli, Indian Creek, New Pal, part of that group. Against the winner at Lebanon, Danville is the favorite in that group. The winner at Lawrenceburg's sectional will play the winner at Jasper. Again, if it's favorites, it could be a Greensburg-Washington matchup there. And then Scottsburg and Evansville Central. Again, Scottsburg, we think it's likely Cordon Central or Silver Creek. But again, Madison and Charlestown both have 14 wins. And Evansville Central, again, is the favorite in their own sectional. But Memorial is always a tough out there. So with that, let's go now to 4A North. The winner at Warsaw, which again, favorite is Warsaw. Northridge could be a thorn in their side against the winner at LaPorte. And again, that could be South Bend, Washington, could be Penn. Crown Point, a very balanced group. Any one of 4 or 5 teams could win that against the winner at Chesterton, with Valparaiso being the favorite in that sectional. Then it's Harrison will play the winner at Fort Wayne Northrop. Again, McCutcheon looking for back-to-back sectional titles in the Harrison group. Northrop the favorite at their own sectional. And then finally, Homestead. Again, Homestead the favorite against the Noblesville winner, which could be HSE or Noblesville. And again, always a deep sectional. That Hamilton County sectional played at the Mill this year. Finally, in terms of the regional pairings, Class 4A South. The 8 winners. The Lawrence North winner will take on the Mount Vernon winner. That was actually how it was drawn last year. That was Mount Vernon and Lawrence Central that played at Decatur Central a season ago. Then the winner at Ben Davis, again, all 5 of those teams with 10 wins or more. The Franklin Central winner, the Flashes, certainly a candidate. Center Grove and Mooresville, certainly in contention there too. The Martinsville winner, again, Bloomington South, the favorite of that group. Columbus North's winner would meet that winner. And again, Columbus North the favorite there. The Seymour winner, Floyd Central, is the favorite. And again, could be one of really 3 or 4 teams that could win at Wrights. And again, that's the end of the draws of the show, because once we get 32 teams in 8 different sites, 4 semi-states, and 8 different kind of mini tournaments, if you will, across the state, we will draw these again on Sunday, February the 16th, and we'll have that for you right here on the IHSAA Champions Network.
Well done.
Thank you.
Done. Those of you, you should all be clapping, okay? Because you get a chance to witness an Indiana treasure. Nobody does it better than Greg Rakestraw. All right, let's take a break. You need to relax.
I need some oxygen. Yes.
You need
a breath would be good.
A little bit of a break. We'll wrap it up. And again, you want to figure out all this out. Just take a little leisurely look at it. Go to ihsaa.org and find out all that's going on. We're coming back and wrap up this wonderful, wonderful night for everyone. You're listening to the IHSA Champions Radio Network, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. This is your IHSAA.
It's a harsh fact of life, but failure is inevitable.
You can work harder than you ever thought possible and still lose.
Sometimes someone else is simply better than you.
While life teaches us that we will sometimes lose, education-based athletics teach us how to deal with those losses in a mentally healthy way. I'm Bella Miller-Krieger from University High School.
And I'm Charlie Hosnow from Forest Park High School. With our coaches and teammates supporting us, student athletes learn how to move past the letdown and focus on the next point, the next play, and the next game.
We learn that negative energy is wasted energy, and that no matter how many times we fall short, as long as we are learning and never give up, we'll ultimately win.
I'm IHSAA Commissioner Paul Knighty. Be a champion of high school sports and the resiliency they build by buying a ticket to your high school's athletic events. This is overcoming adversity. This is developing mental toughness. This is your IHSAA.
Life, there is no free lunch. Are you prepared? Do you have a plan? Who can you trust?
You can trust the NFCC, the nation's largest nonprofit network of credit counseling and financial education organizations. Our certified professionals will help you learn basic financial skills and give you the tools to meet financial challenges with confidence. Come learn with us at nfcc.org.
It's your money. Get smart about it.
A public service from the NFCC.
Welcome back, everyone, to the 2025 IHSAA Girls Basketball Tournament Pairing Show presented by the Indiana Fever and Indiana Pacers on the IHSAA Champions Radio Network. This is your IHSAA. All right, we're done. We have all that. We have a few people we want to thank, but you were fantastic as usual.
Thank you.
Some final thoughts. What do you think?
So, final thoughts is I got to recognize 3 more watch parties.
Oh, that's it.
And then I will help you wrap the show.
There's that.
Hello to the Corden Central Panthers, checking things out in my home county of Harrison County. Reference Bloomington South at 19-2, looking to end a sectional drought. The Panthers getting together to watch things. And Clinton Central has had a really good series of years. Again, teams they know, Rossville, Clinton Prairie, that are in their group. Carroll has got an outstanding team. That's going to be a great sectional. I know for a fact you'll be able to watch a lot of those games from Sectional 54 on the IHSAA Champions Network coming up on February the 4th. And my final thoughts, Bob, is that I am lucky to do what I do and broadcast literally like every day. This and the boys basketball pairing show are 2 of my favorite days of the year. And now that we get to interact with people on Twitter, it's kind of a statewide event. I get goosebumps just thinking about it, and I get to spend more quality time with you, which happens a lot this time of year, but I'll sign up for a couple of extra days as well. So my final thoughts are I cannot wait for the calendar to flip and get us to February, because you and I get to have 2 straight months of tournaments. We are blessed beyond measure. We get to do what we do for a living.
I echo your sentiments 100%. So, Greg Rakestraw, a tremendous amount of thank yous. We'd like to thank the IHSAA for, number one, having us and allowing us to do this and be in your cars or your homes or wherever. I want to thank Paul Neidig, Assistant Commissioner Jane Schott, welcome her to this endeavor. Heath Shanahan for making all of this possible and his hard work behind the scenes. Trevor Fox and his great work from our group, Radio 1. Brad Huber back in the studio, Cam Blankenship here, making it all possible. And thanks to all of you. Thanks for tuning in and watching and listening and having a good time.
And a quick plug again, you'll be able to watch all sectional and regional games. Again, we hope to have blanket coverage of all 64 sectionals of every regional game. We'll get to most, if not all. Again, those are free streams exclusively on the IHSAA Champions Network, IHSATV.org. Once you get to the semi-state and state finals rounds, it is pay-per-view. But the pricing is spectacular. You can get every game for one low price at the semi-state round. And again, semi-states are February the 22nd. State finals, Cambridge Fieldhouse, presented by the Indiana Fever and Pacers. Be on Saturday, March 1st.
Would like to point out that no other state in the country gives their residents this opportunity. The IHSAA Champions Network is unparalleled around the country, and we're just proud to be a part of it. Once again, make sure you go to the games, have as much fun as you can. Remember why those young ladies are out there. Root for them. Have a great time. Do it certainly in the right way. Again, thanks to all of you. Thanks to the IHSAA. Greg Rakestraw, you're an Indiana treasure, my brother.
So are you.
Congratulations. We appreciate you joining us. And once again, you're listening to the IHSAA Champions Radio Network, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance.
You've been listening to the 2025 Indiana High School Athletic Association Girls Basketball Tournament Pairing Show.